talking to Dr. Roland Roberts, Area Vegetable Specialist for the Texas Extension Service. And Dr. Roberts, we have a plot of ground here in the alley garden that, first of all, I think might be in order to give us a little bit of history of this back earlier in the year. You've got a bean crop that has been harvested here. You left the mulch there for a purpose, and yet we're going to go in here with a root crop. Tell us a little bit about, first of all, the history.
Well, this was, the beans were planted about the second week in April. They were the contender variety. They have produced a pretty good crop in early June, and then we had the hot weather. We trailed off with what I would call just a mediocre to poor second crop because of the heat. We've gone ahead and pulled the plants out, dried them out good. They're going to stay in place here and be another form of mulch. They were all very clean, no disease in them at all, so there's no point in hauling them off. This ground, before the beans were planted, this ground was fumigated with Vapam, which cleaned the soil up, got rid of the nematodes and any fungus diseases that are in the soil, like verticillium or fusarium. And the benefit of that is going to extend over into this next crop, which will be our fall crop of root crops. We're going to be planting carrots in here, and in the second row we'll have parsnips, but we'll plant the carrots here this morning.
A root crop, like we're talking about here, is a good fall crop, generally speaking.
Yes. If you put in carrots or parsnips take a little bit longer, about 110 days, but carrots, the Gold King or the Nance or the Imperator, whichever you prefer to plant, from the time it's seeded will produce an edible carrot for the home gardener in about 65 to 70 days. And produce its full mature carrot, which would be the big long carrot, in approximately 90 to 100. What we're doing here is getting in at the latter part of July, and we'll have the entire months of August, September, and October. And these carrots, the ones that are left to mature on and grow to their full size, will be overwintered here. This again is a mulched area of the garden, so the soil is in beautiful condition. And
I understand your concern here when you're planting root crops like carrots that you don't get the soil in too fine a texture.
That's right.
You have a coarse textured soil. What's the reason for that?
Well, it's very easy to form a crust, and the carrot is a weekly germinating seedling. It sprouts very rapidly, but if there's anything to impede its upward progress to emergence, it just quits, or it does not emerge when it's supposed to. So what we're trying to do here is get a coarse granulation so that there's little lumps of soil. When the water flows in, these lumps of soil particles of clay will melt off of these particles and snug in around the seeds, and they'll come up. Now, if you were to take a tiller and till this to a powder, it would make a poor seed bed for carrots, because then it would be very subject to crusting. As soon as water hit that, it would form cement. So all we've done here is to just loosen, and it's already loose under there. All we've had to do really is to kind of tickle the upper 4 to 6 inches of this soil, and we've got a good seed bed for these carrots.
I notice you're planting here next to your
the drip irrigation line. Mm-hmm. That's right. This drip irrigation line will be used to get the carrot seed to germinate. It'll germinate it up, in other words.
Is there a danger of planting things, and I'm assuming here carrot seed are fairly small, and planting them too deep?
Yes. What we'll end up doing is getting them, probably the deepest of them, only at about a half, 3/4 of an inch. You see, they're quite small. We'll get the deepest of them. Now, notice we're sowing in a wide band. Some of those seeds are going to end up an inch, 3/4 of an inch to an inch deep. Others are just going to be very near the surface. And we're just kind of sprinkling them along back and forth here. We'll have a band of seed about 3 inches wide when we're finished. And then, as we do with any of the other seeds, this is something some people aren't aware of. I just firm them in. You can take the heel of your hand and just firm them down into it's important to get them in intimate contact with the soil. Just firm them in. And then you take the back of a rake and then just cover very lightly. Now, in the case of people who do not have drip irrigation, you can go ahead and just sprinkle, irrigate the top of that to, like I said, flow that soil in around the seeds. Now, what we can do, you notice it's melting the water, sort of melting that water around the seeds. What we'll do here from now on is to run the irrigation, the drip irrigation, and it will sub across and keep that seed bed wet. With carrots, again, it's important to irrigate about every 2 to 3 days, whether it be with furrow or sprinkler irrigation or with the drip irrigation. We've got the seed very close to the surface, and with our high temperatures in the afternoons, the seed bed can dry out very rapidly. And a lot of people say, you know, they never get good germination. It's because their seed bed dried out.
When would you expect these to emerge? A week or 10 days?
The earliest I've ever seen carrots emerge is about 10 days. The latest for a, for a good healthy stand would be about 14 to 16. Average around 12.
Did you purposely plant these a little thick for some reason?
Yes. The reason is with carrot seed, no matter what's written on the package, even if it says 90% germination, you'll be lucky to get 1 carrot for every 2 seeds that you plant. The other reason is we want to have sort of a bed so that this is bed planting, and it's a technique that's used in intensive gardening that you don't generally use in commercial production. It allows you to pull the carrots, individual carrots, thin them when they're small fingerling carrots, and allow others to go on to maturity.
Another day at the People Place Alley Garden, we've been talking with Dr. Roland Roberts, who is vegetable specialist with the Texas Extension Service.